And welcome to this interview with Harry and Liz, who were part of the winning group from this year's Climathon, which was run by the French MC and What the Hack. So if you want to introduce yourselves and a bit about why you got involved with the Climathon and what you drew you to getting involved.
You want to go first there, Liz?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Liz. I got involved with the Climathon because my friend sent me a link and was like, "This is something you'd be interested in." And to be honest, I had no idea what it was, but I was like, "Cool, has climb in the name. It can't be too bad." And yeah, so I joined.
So my name's Harry. I'm in third year in business in NUIG, and I kind of joined just to kind of get out of the comfort zone. I was on placement before Christmas, and now I'm studying from home, so I just wanted to kind of get engaged in something outside what I'm doing, and hopefully meet new people and try and solve a really pressing issue. So yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And your group won the whole Climathon. You're the overall winning group. So maybe you want to tell us a bit about your pitch and what it involved, what your kind of solution was to the problem you've picked as your problem statement. Yeah, whichever one wants to take it there.
Yeah, so our problem was transparency within the fashion industry. Me and Harry soon realised that there is zero transparency with these fashion brands. Even the most famous designers like Tom Ford, we found, was like zero on the ranks. And we thought we want to do something about it. So we decided to come up with a label that could be attached to clothing, where it said like how far it's travelled, how much water goes into it, what improvements need to be made. And that's where our app kind of came linked in with it. So you'd scan a QR code on the clothing and then you get directed to an app. And the app itself is kind of like a social media as well in itself, because you can compare to your other friends like how sustainable your clothing is, and you can find like small businesses, and because it's just like a handy place to have everything, especially for like Irish brands, because you know like ASOS marketplace is very like Englishy. So wanted to like an Irish one.
Brilliant. Harry, do you have anything to add to that? Is there your kind of slant on it from a business point of view, I suppose?
Yeah, so I suppose Liz pretty much hit the nail on the head there, but the real problem we were getting into was trying to bring important information to the minds of consumers. Like Liz said, we found out how complex fast fashion is. Like I thought I knew. I think everybody has an idea, but there's so many different facets of it. And there was a couple of key kind of metrics that we wanted to show consumers, just as an example. So wanted to bring the information you can see on food basically to clothes, because I think people don't realize the cost it's having on people on the other side of the world. When we're buying cheap clothes, but the cost is being taken by people on the other side of the world. So I suppose not many people have time to really go research in every shopping purchase they make. So our idea was to try and bring that information to the forefront and try and encourage transparency, because like Liz said, on the fashion revolution, isn't it, Liz, that did the transparency index, they had their own metric of analyzing the top like 250 fashion brands in the world, and the average was so low. And like Liz said, there was some with 0%. So we don't even know what that means. How is that possible? So yeah, that's what we got down to in the end anyway.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's so nice to see people actually being active to try bring that transparency to the fore. I suppose at the core of the Climathon, they're looking at the SDGs. So in your own words, just quick and simple, what SDGs do you hope this app would be able to tackle? Yeah.
I'd say a lot of SDGs, but particularly the responsible consumption and production, because consumers are going to be more responsible. Their retailers are hopefully going to be more responsible, and once they see like small businesses collabing with us, they'll soon realize that they will have to as well, because it'll be the norm. So we hope that people are just more responsible with their shopping habits, and maybe they don't do as much impulse buying at the checkout and they see, oh no, it's traveled all the way, they really need it. So
so I think it's the 12 and 13th one that was mainly focused on. But again, what we realized is like fast fashion is complex. So, you know, there'll be poverty problems that will be solved at the other side of the world as well. You know, there's so many things that lead to it, you know. So in terms of people getting paid a fair wage who are making the clothes as well, like that's a totally different issue, but is it externality of what we're trying, it'll have a knock-on effect is what we're saying. But I suppose the real ones were 12 and 13, the two ones based around the climate, but it has many, we would hope idealistically it would have many kind of knock-on effects like that.
Yeah, it's great that you're highlighting the fact that it isn't just happening in a vacuum, that it does have an impact on all aspects of sustainability. So as the winning group, you get to pitch at a conference at the end of May. So I know you don't know a huge amount about it at the moment, but can you kind of explain hopefully the next steps for you and your project, what you hope to do with it and what kind of guidance you've been given?
Yeah, so I suppose for the Climathon, it was solution based. So we basically, we had 4 weeks and we have to kind of pick a problem statement and come up with a solution. So now we have the opportunity so we got to see other people's ideas, and it was people from around the country. Now this one is more kind of international based, and we imagined that the kind of audience is going to be a bit more high profile in terms of like diplomatic power and stuff like that. So I suppose we're going to discuss, you know, we have a unique opportunity here, so we need to discuss, we have a short amount of time, what is the best thing we can do. You know, should we focus on our app, or should we really try and drive on the problem that still exists? So I guess that's our next thing that we need to discuss, whether we drum on the kind of political side of things, or do we kind of, well, I suppose they go hand in hand as well. You know, we don't want to propose a problem and just, you know, leave it out there. We have a solution to a small part of it, so hopefully maybe that'll catch on as well. I don't know your thoughts on that, Liz, as well.
Yeah, I think the same with you, like definitely more like be more pushing the kind of political aspect, where we'd like to have this as like a standard or like a law, but like it's all like I just idealistic, isn't it? Like, but even if we made some small change, it would be so really good.
Yeah, no, it's an absolutely amazing idea. I love the idea of it being so accessible to people. And especially, I like the way that you're targeting the small Irish brands, because that will really catch on. I'm sure they'd be totally open, because they have to be more transparent as a smaller brand. But I suppose I just want to talk to you quickly as well about how you found the experience of actually participating in the Climathon. I know, Liz, you talked about that it's kind of something you're interested in, and Harry, you talked about pushing yourself out of the comfort zone. So maybe if you want to talk quickly about actually stepping out of your comfort zone and volunteering for something like this, and how you found it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, in terms of what I got out of it, I suppose, first off, is a much deeper understanding of a problem that I had a vague notion of. I know Liz was more versed in it than I was, but in a sadder kind of note, I kind of realized how hard it is to solve these problems as well. It's not just a case of more people need to be aware of it, and that's the first step, but that there's real kind of tangible kind of physical problems and logistics that need to be worked out for all these things. But yeah, I think I just wanted to, you know, studying business, which is quite broad, but in terms of the social aspects of business is a really hot topic now as well. And I guess this is going to be an issue in climate in general going forward for the next however many years. And I hope it is something that we're talking about a lot. And yeah, I suppose to connect with it, like Liz and I are studying in Galway, but we had a joint team with 2 people who are studying in Dublin. So that came with the kind of unique opportunities of the pandemic as well, and working virtually. So yeah, I think it was a combination of all of those things, but mainly it was just, you know, I'm doing a set thing with business and just trying the evenings maybe to think on a bigger scale and play around with it and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And Liz, do you want to talk about your experience as well?
Yeah, yeah, I had no idea what it was, but from the get-go, it was quite a positive experience. I already knew one girl in our team, so that kind of, you know, that was handy. But we kind of already knew me and Orla were like interested in doing something with fashion. but the help that we got was like amazing. Like our mentor pushed us, I'd say, out to the limit.
Yeah.
Like it felt like we were on Dragon's Den every meeting, but it was so great because I needed that. I haven't felt that in a while. Yeah, the support, the advice, bouncing off ideas off each other. The two other were like, I don't know, we all kind of came from different backgrounds, and it was just nice to like not, because you know, like Lucy, like we're all in the same course, so it was nice to like talk to people outside of our bubble, and yeah, it was nice meeting new people.
Yeah, and just to jump in on that like you were saying, Liz, yourself and Orla, another girl in the group, were very passionate about this particular issue, and it's like I wouldn't be well versed in it, but it's so easy to kind of get more passionate when you see the enthusiasm other people have for it. That like that really kind of proactivated my mind as well. I felt more passionate about it all of a sudden as well. You kind of feed off each other like that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like it was an amazing experience for everybody involved. I suppose, would you recommend to other students in NUIG getting involved in the Climathon or similar experiences, you know, kind of stepping outside their comfort zone and stepping outside of maybe their traditional course and what they're doing?
Yeah, I certainly would. Like it was difficult. Like it was a good bit of work in it too, but I found it thoroughly enjoyable. Like I've done my fair share of like group projects in colleges or whatever, but this was definitely one of the most enjoyable ones. It was more kind of there was less of a structure to it, but that was kind of on purpose, and that kind of, I think we all kind of were a bit uncomfortable with that at the start, because I suppose you're so used to a certain deadline in college or a certain amount of words, but this was kind of free for all, which kind of made it harder to navigate, but was also a lot more enjoyable. So I definitely recommend it. Now, I don't know, would my answer be different if we got smashed in the presentation, but no, I certainly enjoyed the process of it, and I would recommend it to people of all different kind of backgrounds as well. Like Liz said, we're kind of all from different courses and different places as well. Like, so it was a unique opportunity, but yeah, I'd recommend it anyway.
Yeah, like I definitely recommend it as well. Like I feel like in school everyone did like BT Young Scientists, and it had the similar vibes. Like we had a virtual booth and all the judges came around and they were talking to us, and it was just like yeah, it was like really exciting. And at the start, like we didn't even know where it was going to go, like Gary said, but it was so worthwhile in the end, and we like learned so much as well. Like we got workshops every week, and or like how like approaching solutions and problems, and it was just good crack. Even though like it sounds like a lecture vibe, but it wasn't. It was just like kind of chill.
That's brilliant. Thanks a million, guys, and congratulations again with winning, and best of luck in the next couple of weeks in developing your project even more.
Thanks very much, Lucy, for having us. It's a real honor.
No bother.